Today I'm going to be taking a look at one of the most infamous shows on Cartoon Network, The High Fructose Adventures of the Annoying Orange. This show always baffled me growing up. Like, what producer was sitting in the room watching the webtoon Annoying Orange on YouTube and was like, oh my god, 11 minutes, 4 seasons, we need it all, baby. It was always very weird to me because anyone I knew who actually did watch The Annoying Orange, they didn't seem to like it very much. I actually haven't met anybody in person who was like, yeah, I was an avid Annoying Orange supporter. I know that they're out there, I know there's people that love it, but I just don't know if I could get behind it. So today, I'm going to be watching 5 random episodes to decide, was The Annoying Orange actually that bad? Or was they cult classic, something to be loved, something to be cherished? Those are the questions we're going to be trying to answer today. And if you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. At 50k, I'm going to be cosplaying as Pops from Regular Show and doing the Milk Challenge. And if you want a place where you can talk about your favorite games, movies, shows, all that good stuff, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's finally take a look at The Annoying Orange. The first episode that I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode Veggie Zombies, and going into a show like this, I'm usually hoping that it's going to be so awful that it's actually good. In this episode, Loki didn't disappoint on that front. It had a pretty, mellow start with my least favorite type of joke, where it's like, oh my gosh, I really hope that this doesn't happen, there's no need to panic, and then, oh my gosh, wait, there is a need to panic, because it's just a newscaster being all like, there's veggie zombies on the loose, but have no fear, you don't need to worry, there's no need to panic, and then the zombies show up and start eating him.
There is no need to panic. Wait, this just in. I can now confirm the report, and you are welcome to panic.
So I was already like, man, if it's gonna be this type of comedy, I'm gonna be in for a very rough time. But then it actually got a little bit better because it cuts to the Annoying Orange and there's already some sexual attention between the Annoying Orange and this passion fruit. And I'm just thinking, Annoying Orange, you can't focus on the fact that you're about to die. They're surrounded by zombies, but this baddie of a passion fruit's like, oh, hey, Orange. Oh, I have something to tell you. I kinda want you really bad. But then the Annoying Orange starts monologuing and not focusing on this passion fruit with just luscious looking lips. Come on, man, that was your chance to do something. He starts monologuing about how they got into this situation because of course we need to understand how they're surrounded by veggie zombies, and we learn a couple things here, that there's apparently evil vegetables that want to kill all of the fruits. It's just death the fruit, dear lord. Oh, how terrifying. And then all of a sudden it cuts to them and they live on like a fruit stand and everybody's having an intervention for Orange because he's just doing an unbelievable amount of fentanyl. He's doing so much fucking fentanyl that they have to stop him from doing so much. In actuality, he just has a laughing problem, and maybe that's why I enjoyed this episode a little bit, because the Annoying Orange wasn't laughing very much because everybody was having an intervention for him so that he would stop laughing. And I don't know, the progression of the episode is kind of thrown off a little bit because they just do this cut of the zombies and then a cut to a different thing, like the Annoying Orange being in therapy, where he's told to just think about something really sad so that he'll stop laughing, and so he doesn't laugh for like a good solid like 6 minutes, and his laugh does piss me off a lot. To basically reenact it for you, it's like
Is she still around?
Of course she's round. She's an orange.
yeah, that's basically what it sounds like, and it does piss me off, so hey, maybe that's why it was very enjoyable at least. But then the zombies just show up out of the blue, and I actually started chuckling a little bit. Can you believe it? Me, this guy, certified hater, was laughing at the Annoying Orange because Apple, I don't know, I can't really describe anything about him. He's just an apple who seems kind of pessimistic. He just starts getting eaten by zombies, and all the characters, instead of necessarily worrying about the apple, they're just like, Apple's getting eaten and you're not even laughing at him, Annoying Orange. Come on, buddy. This is hilarious. I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a PNG apple getting eaten alive. Either way, enjoyed it. And then, my main man, the man of the century, he comes out from around the corner. All of a sudden, just in my mind, I hear, do you like my sword, you cannot afford, Ford. I forgot Tobuscus was in the show. I forgot. Man, fall of a legend, really. Fall of a legend. Man, Annoying Orange, Tobuscus, it's insane. Either way, Tobuscus is like, do you want some ranch? Ranch, you cannot afford ranch. And he drops it down because apparently veggie zombies, when you spray them with ranch, they just die. Okay, I'll roll with it. And then Tobuscus gets dragged away by a bunch of vegetable zombies, and I actually thought that was pretty funny. That was interesting. I was all for that. So they all just gear up with a bunch of ranch and they start fighting all the zombies, and that was enjoyable for the most part. They pull out some goddamn guns. There's this little marshmallow who has joy-itis or something, and he kind of talks like this. He's like, oh gosh, guys, I really hope I don't get eaten by zombies. Oh, it's just too much. But then he actually likes it, so maybe he's a dirty little masochist marshmallow. The masochist mallow. He gets eaten alive. And then the whatever fruit sacrifices himself, and that matters for some odd reason. And then they go outside and they're just sitting there, and then the annoying orange, for no apparent reason, like the pear trips on a banana, and he hasn't been laughing for 11 minutes, but he's just like, ha ha ha, and because of that, he is able to blow up the zombies' heads because his laugh is so annoying.
Orange, it isn't funny.
That all the zombies die. Yay! Yay! Yeah, that was very interesting for my first true experience of annoying orange. There were a couple things that I actually did like. When you play into just the shock value of the world, I think it's pretty interesting. Like, you just have those random jokes that just appear out of nowhere, like the apple being eaten for no reason, or Tobuscus getting dragged away. Actually, kind of enjoyed that. Some of the other parts are just kind of low, but there was really nothing too bad about this episode. Honestly, which is kind of weird to say, because going into this, I had very low expectations, so maybe because my expectations were so low, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 7. It doesn't do anything so grandiose that I'm just, spinning in my pants, just splurging everywhere, but I still had a decent enough time to not say anything bad about it. Some of the jokes actually hit. The plot flowed well, aside from some kind of annoying things like the monologue thing or the cutting to therapy thing. There were some things that actually worked for me, which is odd to say. 7 out of 10 here. I enjoyed it. The next episode that I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode Fruit Loose, and if Veggie Zombies was a high note, here is where the brain rot truly began for me, because this episode was all over the place with what it was trying to achieve, and it truly showcased what Annoying Orange is actually like as a character, because it wasn't nullified by the fact that he couldn't laugh or tell jokes. So here, oh man, it's just a struggle. The episode opens with them all singing and having a great time with their band. Lovely. And then Polly Prune shows up, the mayor of Fruitville or whatever, and she's like, oh, you guys are giving me a hernia with all your singing. Singing's band. Oh God, I think I'm gonna break my glasses. Yeah, she gets very upset and just starts arresting people left and right. And I was like, oh man, such a shame. And so we cut to the next day and Pear shows up, and Pear doesn't like dancing anyway, so he's all like,
guys, I understand that you're all sad, but you're acting a little bit emo.
And they're like, no, we're not emo. And then Orange shows up and he's all like, we're not emo, Pear. And he's got like a fresh purple cut and some eyeliner. That almost made me laugh just because it was so out of nowhere.
Don't you think you guys are being a little emo? Emo? I'll never go emo. Wait, Orange.
But then the episode just goes like this with its next scene, because Tobuscus shows up and he's like, guys, you can't be depressed, guys. You're gonna turn out like depressed fruits. And then we get a cutaway where he's just like, oh no, bro, look at all my fruits, they're so depressed. And he has his own fruit cart and he's on like a deserted island and it's all dark and gloomy. And I was okay with it. I was fine with the cutaway. It was like a Family Guy cutaway where it's nonsensical, but I'm okay with it. It was like, remember the time that I was with my fruits? I was fine with it. Like, oh man, that looks depressing. But then for no reason, Tobuscus just starts ripping stinky ass. Why? What did that add to the episode? Who greenlit that? I completely understand the filming of it, like, oh, the fruits are acting depressed, let's showcase Tobuscus in a very sad way with all of his sad fruits when he's not living with all the happy fruits. It could be a good old-fashioned... It could be hilarious. And then somebody was just like, what if we make him start farting non-stop? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You have problems, you have mental issues when it comes to making a show. I understand it's just brain rot, but you guys were on a good path here, and then you just soiled it. And then you just kept on soiling it. And then we get to one of my main problems with this episode. I don't know if it's a reoccurring theme, but the annoying orange, all he does the entire time is make really shitty puns. It's all he does. Like, anytime anybody is talking, like the mayor is talking, or any character is talking, and the mayor's name is Polly, so just out of nowhere, there shouldn't be a correlation. Just because somebody's name is Polly, you shouldn't be all like, Polly, want a cracker? But he makes that joke anyway. Why? I don't care for it. Either way, they're all getting arrested again, and then Kevin Bacon shows up, the Kevin Bacon, and he starts just hitting a little jig here, hitting a little jig there. How exciting. And the police can't arrest him, and so Pear is like, you guys look stupid, you look stupid! And he starts dancing a little bit to show them that they look stupid, so he gets arrested, but because he gets arrested, he's allowed to challenge the mayor to a dance-off to save Fruitopia. Okay. But if he's arrested, then why in the next scene do they let him go and train for this dance-off? That was kind of whatever. I'm okay with it, I guess. The dance-off training montage was pretty awful, but whatever. So then Pear and Polly go at it, and when you dance so unbelievably good, you literally fucking kill people. So Polly is just hitting a jig, just being like, oh yeah. Oh yeah! And by the way, it's visually not appealing at all because all they're doing is spinning the PNGs. But Polly is about to kill Pear, and I actually thought this was funny just because of Pear's face, where he's just like, no! I thought that was funny.
Kevin!
And then Kevin Bacon to the fucking rescue. Oh my god! Because he gets burnt to a crisp, saving Pear. That was nice, I guess. And then because Pear, I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense because Kevin Bacon says that, Polly's all like, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't do this. And then Tobuscus, for no reason, because I guess they just had to cap off the episode on a positive note, he runs over and he's like, guys, Polly can't be mayor because she's from the dried food section. And then Polly's like, I guess I was getting a little bit silly. And then this old ass Lemon shows up and he's all like, oh Polly, I missed when you were groovy, girl. I missed it. And then in the most unsensual way possible, Polly looks at him and is like, oh, Grandpa, and like leans in for a kiss.
Oh, Grandpa.
What the if anybody ever looks at you, like when you're having a moment and you think you're about to have the smooch of your life, they stare you dead in your eyes, and they'd say, oh, Grandpa, you need to get out of there. Anybody here got a grandpa kink in which they like being called Gramps in bed? Because that was really weird, dude. That was wild. That was not very enjoyable. Either way, that's pretty much the episode. I really don't know how to feel about this one. There were certain aspects that I liked about it. The episode didn't flow well at all because things just start happening. And then once they start happening, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. And then they just randomly do another thing. Like, oh, Pear is making fun of dancing. Oh, let's have Pear all of a sudden get arrested for making fun of it. And then all of a sudden he has to do a montage. And then all of a sudden Kevin Bacon kills himself. It's just a very weird progression of how things flow, but I guess that's just keeping it with the brain rottedness. I don't know. Overall, it's not objectively horrible. Like, I could definitely see 6-year-old me getting behind this, but if I was to rate it 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not going to say that there's anything abysmally awful about it that makes me angry. It's just the flow is very weird. It's very off, and it feels like they could tell a way better story if they would just stick to one thing, but they just decided to cut to a different thing, and it just kind of took me out of it a little bit, minus the actual brain rot things, like that whole thing with Tobuscus ripping ass. That was awful, but it's not enough to make me want to say that it's objectively a really bad episode. It's just whatever, I guess, middle of the road. Taking a look at our next episode, it's going to be the episode Pop Star, and the best way that I could describe this episode is, I'm afraid. That's the best way that I could describe this. You know when people talk about the brain rot of Annoying Orange? You know when people talk about how abysmal this show actually was? I could see it now. I could see it clear as day. I write down little notes of the major highlights of an episode that I need to hit when I'm talking, because sometimes I'm talking for over 5 minutes with no script, so these are just the major points. All I wrote down for this episode is, Orange, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna have a brain aneurysm and popcorn drummer. That's all I got in 11 minutes of time because it was so awful. The episode opens with Orange just being like, oh yeah, I'm a singer. Could
you stop singing, please? Can we even qualify it as singing? It's unlistenable.
Yeah, he does that for a very long time. Tobuscus, he is making popcorn. The popcorn starts going off, and all of a sudden, all the other fruits who were telling him to shut up are like, wait a second! This is rockin'! Yeah! They're having a great time with it now, and it's still, like, imagine you're just listening to popcorn going off, and also just, no. Yeah, that's all it is for 11 minutes of time. You think I'm joking? I'm not. There's a little bit of exposition here and there, like this corn lady being all like, you guys, you got what it takes to get all the way to the top. I'm assigning you guys to a contract. And Popcorn, he's a little shy and worried about his kernels, so he doesn't really want to do it. But either way, he does. And then for just 9 whole minutes, they just go around and I have to listen to the Orange be all like, we're Puns and Roses, Popcorn, count us off. God, it just makes me want to drive a wooden stake into my heart. I want to stop breathing after this. I want to succumb to anything that's coming my way. I want 1,000 mosquitoes to just dig into my flesh. It's so bad, man. It's so unbelievably awful to just sit here and listen to this putrid nonsense. Eventually, we get all the way to the end of the episode where Popcorn, all of his kernels are almost gone. He's looking fat AF. He's a big man, and he's like, guys, I don't think I could go on anymore. I don't think I could do it. And they go out there, they're getting embarrassed because they don't have Popcorn. And Popcorn, he sees the corn, who is trying to force him to go out there, so he does like the greatest animated betrayal of all time, kickflips him into the microwave, and just brutally slaughters the piece of corn. She is dead! Oh my god, that was insane! Yeah, this is one of the worst things I've ever had to sit through in my entire life. I guess when you're watching a show called The Annoying Orange, should you expect anything less? Maybe a little bit of comedy, maybe something well written, but I feel like the pitch meeting for this episode was just, alright fellas, 11 minutes, we gotta fill it somehow. How are we going to fill this? We're gonna do it the best way we possibly can, okay? We're gonna have the Orange go like, and we're gonna have him do that for a long time. We're not going to cut away from it. We're not going to do anything adventurous. We're not going to do anything visually that appealing. We're just going to have him do that for 11 minutes. How are we going to make this better? We're going to have a popcorn bag in the background. Yeah. You know who else just loves listening to popcorn popping and an orange just being, I don't know, brain dead? Yeah, I don't know. It was really depressing. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a 1 out of 10. This is one of the worst viewing experiences I've ever had in my entire life. The next episode that I'm going to be taking a look at is The Day the Store Stood Still, and this is a very interesting one to say the least. The episode opens with the annoying orange playing a video game. He's all like, "Oh, dude, you just got pwned, bro!" He's doing very well, and then Tobuscus shows up, and my initial thought when seeing this was, I wonder how much Tobuscus got paid for this show. Whatever it wasn't enough. He's just drenched in sweat, and he's like, "Guys, it's so hot! The sun! It never sets!" He's just freaking out.
Outside?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's supposed to be night, but it's still day.
And apparently, the annoying orange gives us one of his good old, exposition monologues about how there is a space toddler who had space hamsters, and the reason the Earth spins is because of a space hamster. Somebody had to have just been getting fried when writing these episodes. That's the only way I could justify what's happening here. Somebody was just zooted out of their minds, and they were like, "Let's make the orange have to find a hamster that lived in the center of the Earth." That's exactly what was going on, because, whew, man, it's wild. So then the orange and Tobuscus and all the fruits, they find this drill. Well, the fruit stand turns into a drill, and there's this fruit lady named Starry who could take them there, but they get in an argument. I don't know, we were just wasting like a minute and 30 seconds. It kind of tuned out. It's just the orange talking to a computer for a very long time. I didn't like that at all. Then they start digging down to the center of the Earth to get to the hamster. They get chased by a giant mole for a while. Yay. I guess. And then where it gets really weird, I mean our first weird aspect of the episode, I feel like the passion fruit, either they're playing into the fact that it's a passion fruit, and that's why they made her just want to do dirty, nasty things to everybody. I don't know. But in these past 4 episodes that I've watched so far, it seems like she wants to get her freak on with everybody. She literally, and I quote, in this episode, looks at Orange and is like, "Orange, you're so good at steering the ship. You could steer my ship any day."
You didn't. Captain Orange gave the order. Orange, you can steer my ship anytime you want.
I don't know. She's just a whore fruit. Dirty, stinky whore fruit. She's just homie hopping around everybody. That's her main character trait. That's all I've noticed about her, which I think is just interesting to say the least. So then they keep on digging, and they get to this cave, and they're looking for something to replace the drill because the drill got broke. And that's when we meet Jason Jr. He's like this PNG of a dude that I've never seen before. If this is a reference to something, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is.
We don't get much fruit down here. I'm super backed up. That's gonna help a lot.
He's basically like Satan, but if Satan was a Reddit or Discord mod who had 30 kittens and spends his day on VR chat dealing with what's that stuff called where for some reason when you're on VR chat you could feel pain, phantom pain. Oh my god, they're touching me. Sorry. That's what he reminds me of. He gives me that vibe. He's like, "Whatever, guys, I'm gonna enslave the world or something. I'm gonna kill you guys and let you go make that hamster run." That's the best way I could describe him to you. Very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff going on. So they go all the way down to the hamster, and the hamster just is obese now and has just been playing games. So the orange challenges him to the game, and whoever wins has to run on the wheel or whatever, and orange cheats and beats the hamster, and there you go. That's the ending. Wowza. Man, that was just a knee slapper of an episode. That really was. I don't know. A lot of things happen in this episode that made genuinely no sense, really playing into the brain rot aspect. I don't know, for 1 second the orange is playing a video game, and then all of a sudden he's talking about space toddlers, then all of a sudden they're digging to the center of the Earth, and then all of a sudden there's a half human, half mole Satan guy who wants to enslave everybody. I don't know, it's all over the place, it's hard to follow, and it's just very, very weird. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 4 out of 10. I don't know, it's not horrid. There's nothing that makes me want to end my own life while watching this, but then again, there's nothing that makes me ever want to watch this ever again, and I was very happy when it ended, but I'm not gonna go on a hate tirade. I just think the things that they try to do just doesn't really make a lot of sense. The final episode that I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode Fruitastic Voyage. And I feel like fatigue is beginning to set. The longer I subject myself to the show, the more the characters actually start to rub off on you in a very negative way. Not like this kind of way, more like a I'm getting angry just listening to them kind of way. And it's not feeling good anymore. It's really not. Tobuscus at the beginning of the episode, he's getting zapped, and I thought it was kind of funny just because of his nonchalant reactions, like, oh wow, a glowing light from a spaceship. Oh wow, sudden paralysis. Oh wow, I'm getting sucked up.
Struck by sudden paralysis.
I thought that was all right, but then everything else after that was just, he goes into the store and he has laser vision and starts melting things, so the fruits realize that they need to help him, and then he goes to see this doctor, and the doctor's like, yep, you have a laser weapon stuck in your head, and he goes to eat a sandwich. And just for you to understand how dry the comedy for this show actually is, he is holding the sandwich, he takes a bite out of it, and then he has to sneeze. And he's like, who put pepper in this? Wait a minute, I made the sandwich.
Who put pepper in this? I'm allergic. Wait, I made this sandwich.
Was that supposed to get the kids, like, on the floor dying laughing? Really? Was that supposed to be? Was that your magnum opus of comedy right there? So they go inside of him, and they're just all up in him, doing things inside of him. They see a shark, and they're gonna shoot him, but then the shark's like, wait, no, I'm a helpy shark. Yay, I'm having such a great time. Then they get all the way up to his brain, and the broccoli villains, they show up, and we have a laser battle where the broccoli villains get nuked, which was also just not very appealing. I didn't really care for it. They take the weapon away, and then they go into his ear canal, and they're just like, you want pepper! And so he puts lots of pepper on his sandwich, even though he said he was allergic, and he bites the sandwich and sneezes out the fruits. Wow. You know when you just watch something that is such a cinematic masterpiece that you just have no other choice but to bust everywhere? I don't know. I feel truly complete, like everything in my life has led me to this moment, and nothing can ever really top it. The Annoying Orange has changed how I view fruit in general, how I view the world, and how I want to be as a person now. I want to be so much better because of Annoying Orange. It's taught me lessons that I'll never forget, and watching them go inside of Tobuscus and just be all up in him, there's really nothing else I need in life, genuinely. This was perfect. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 2 out of 10. You know, it may not reflect what I was just saying, but dear Lord, it's just that good that I don't think I could rate it any higher. So is The Annoying Orange actually awful? If I was going to give you my honest take on it, I would say that it's definitely not as bad as I thought it was going to be. A lot of people, when they talk about this show, they say that it's the worst thing humanity has ever conspired, but I've definitely seen worse. At least the entire time, it wasn't just ass jokes or fart jokes. Yes, they were there, of course. It's The Annoying Orange, what do you expect? But there was, in some cases, them actually trying to tell a decent joke and tell a decent episode with decent plot lines. There was, the conception of a good show. It's just when you have a character that is inherently so annoying. Say that again. That's the title of the show. That's the main guy. It's obviously going to be annoying, but I can't necessarily be mad at that because it's The Annoying Orange. What do you expect going into it? It doesn't make it good, but, you get what you expect. I guess that's all I could really say about it. I would never watch this show. I would always go to Disney or Nickelodeon. I would never choose the show. No matter what was on those channels, I would probably choose them over The Annoying Orange unless it was something like, I don't know, Breadwinners. But yeah, this was definitely just okay. Not the worst thing ever. Am I ever gonna watch it again? No, hell no, never again. Never gonna touch the slop again. But it's definitely not as bad as people make it out to be.